Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us and get access to an exclusive strategy video, information is available in the description below. In the previous video we looked at MMTLP and the focus was on updates from FINRA. We also looked at the top 10 stocks to hold for 2023 and this covered small cap, medium cap and large cap stocks. So please refer back to the previous video for those updates. In today's video we're also going to be looking at MMTLP and the focus today is going to be updates with the conversation with John Brda, also updates in terms of more evidence mounting up in terms of what's going on with the manipulation behind the scenes, especially in the creation of MMTLP from the market makers. So stay tuned for that. Let's first of all start by having a look at an update in terms of the market. So a headline here from Yahoo Finance. We know the market was a little bit mixed today, but the stocks did fall on the first trading day of 2023. Apple and Tesla were down. So Tesla was down quite significantly because of the obviously the release of the delivery numbers, which were a little bit of a miss. But we can see here that S&P 500 was down 0.4% and the Nasdaq composite was down 0.8%. So hopefully better news tomorrow. So we're going to start by having an update from yesterday's video, and the focus on yesterday's video was some conversations that we had in the space chat with David Lauer. So following on from that, just to recap, David Lauer is an expert in spoofing cases. He's also an expert in the SEC. However, he did say he wasn't too much of an expert in the OTC, especially with regard to FINRA and U3 halts. However, he does have good connections in the SEC and also good connections in FINRA. And there were questions asked in yesterday's chat and also today's chat with regard to a potential meeting with him and John Brda for 60 minutes. It may be in private, it may be in a Twitter space. But there were some, obviously David does stand as an advocate for free and fair market. So in terms of some of the statements that he stated, he does want to promote markets being fair, but there were some issues where we disagreed with him. But overall, I think from our point of view, I think it's good to get him on side if we can present the evidence. But let's first of all give a shout out here to Cornelius, who's asked a question to David. So let's have a look at the question. And he stated here, my question to you is, why did FINRA and SEC approve the dates if that was an issue? Don't you know if you remember, but this was held up for review by the very agencies listed 3 times before it was released and finalized. So what David is saying is pretty sure that it didn't happen. Regulatory agencies don't approve dates, they just publish them. I think the exchange made a mistake on allowing these dates, and that's why FINRA stepped in. I don't think FINRA did anything wrong here. So that's a point of contention that we can disagree with. But the next shout out here is to Cable, who's also followed up, tagging in Dave here and stating, Dave, just to be clear, you are saying the SEC are the ones who effed up after 4 amendments over 6 months. So very, very good point here. So it'll be interesting to see if David does follow on with that. Then FINRA, who last second amended their own notice because of bad wording, decided to halt trading because they saw the mistake after the VP Mendy did an interview on MMTLP. So again, these are some issues and some questions that we certainly need to clear up. And in this Twitter space earlier today, in a conversation with John Brda, I also raised this issue. So I'm going to be sharing with you some questions that I would like John to ask Dave shortly as well. So before we do that, the other thing I'd like to follow up from yesterday's video is a shout out again to Matt Cause. So remember, there was some correspondence with him and John Brda, but John Brda was stating that obviously he wasn't able to speak for Metamaterials and George Palikaros, but there has been an update on that, so let's have a look at that. So what Matt did, he tagged in George and he stated, to cover bases, George, can you confirm no person from MMAT gave permission for MMTLP to be publicly traded? So we have a response, and what George has now stated, in obviously this is in response to positive news for MMTLP, and that is 100% no permission was given by anyone at MMAT. In fact, as John already knows, we immediately inquired and reported to FINRA that certain published corporate information used on the OTC, for example, the management team board, was false. So very, very strong and very positive statement here from George. So the ball is back in FINRA's court here. So hopefully Matt can also give us some coverage on this. However, as of yet, FINRA have not responded to these allegations, to these questions, and as they are an organisation that is allegedly there to act in the public interest, we believe it is in the public interest to answer these questions. Finally, I'm now going to summarise some of the key points of the conversation earlier today with John Brda, and in the space chat, one of the things that I asked John was once he speaks to Dave, or if he speaks to Dave, is hopefully to educate him on the 9th and the 12th of December, because according to Dave, these were days where the shorts wouldn't have covered. And he also stated that these days were a mistake and there should have been no trading on these days anyway. So we shouldn't have expected to trade on that day. So what I would like, or what I stated to John is if he could educate him on the reason why we were not trading on these days. And that is because of the U3 halt. No other reason. There was no mistake. What happened, it was FINRA gave us the U3 halt, and that's why trading did not happen on these dates. So we know that the shorts were expected to close. What Dave also said is that he didn't expect them to all close on those 2 dates. What I would like to do is turn the question back over to Dave and say, well, why? If you didn't expect the shorts to close on those 2 days and fully close out, why? When obviously it's a legal obligation, it's a legal requirement. The SEC rules state that that must happen. So we now need to pose that question back to FINRA, back to the SEC, and say, well, you are now saying that you didn't expect the shorts to all close. Well, can we ask you to investigate why that didn't happen? And we do agree they didn't close before that date, and maybe they wouldn't have closed on the final 2 days, but we don't know because they were not closing before. So that is something that we want investigating. And in other updates is obviously John also stated the Next Bridge is still available for sale to a buyer, so it's not going to cause any problems. However, we do need the shares obviously the shares to be fixed in terms of the brokers and synthetics, so that's important as well, but no issues with in terms of a buyer. They also said, obviously, John Brda said his preferred option is to open the grey market. That's what everybody wants, and that will give everybody an opportunity to use your sell limit orders, clear out the synthetics from the broker side of things. And the other update he provided was with regard to FINRA. All communication with FINRA was very slow. FINRA were very, very hesitant in responding. The company always were asked to provide information. That information was provided, even though some of the information was related to the MMTLP that was created fraudulently, or as it is alleged. And finally, there is the 211 form. John Brda has not seen that, and the other key development from today's space chat is John may be able to get access to that form, so we have to wait and see if there is a development on there. And if there is a development, then that should really open up Pandora's box, in my opinion, and then the authorities will have to act. Finally, I'd like to finish off by giving a quick shout out to the weekly watch list. So this is a quick review of last week's weekly watch list, which was quite successful, and some of the stocks that we called out last weekend were included XPON, that was up 28% Wednesday and closed up 3% on the week. MTR was up 9% on the week. KAL was up 30% Wednesday, but was down 6.2% on the week. So remember, not all calls are successful. ARDX, that was up 22%. TGTX was also a call, that was up 44.6% on the week. ORIC, that was up 24.8% on the week. HTGM, again, great opportunity to take profits on the Tuesday. It was up over 57%, but if you held on to that, then you would have been down 10%. IMRN, that was up 46% Tuesday, but it still closed up 12% on the week. APRN down to 11% on the week, BIEI down 12% on the week, and ACER down 30% on the week. So overall, most of the calls were successful. Not all calls are always successful, but certainly if you'd like to get the next weekly watch list, you can certainly join us. Details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.